Facebook's pivot to the metaverse is reportedly sparking internal disruption and uncertainty. The New York Times recently spoke with several current and former Meta employees. In a new report, they outlined the challenges of transitioning to the largely theoretical concept. Meta currently employs more than 68,000 people, and since the company's rebrand last fall, Meta has reportedly boosted recruitment for jobs related to the metaverse. Shira Frankel co-authored that report and joins me now. She's a tech reporter for the New York Times and author of An Ugly Truth. Shira, thank you so much for joining us. Great to have you here. So Facebook appears to be going all in with the metaverse, but as you point out in your piece, this is not quite like the time it transitioned from desktop to mobile a decade ago. This is still a technology that not that many people are familiar with. So first off, can you please explain exactly what the metaverse is and give us an idea of Mark Zuckerberg's vision for transitioning to this new era of tech?
Right. So this is all very theoretical, but in Mark Zuckerberg's imagination and what he's described to his close confidants and to employees at the company, the metaverse is a virtual world where you can do and say and behave in the ways you do in the real world. It's just all done virtually. So much like his avatar, which moved through this online world when he made the announcement, people would be able to create avatars, and through wearing sensors on their bodies and goggles on their faces, they would really feel as if they were immersed in this online world. And I think it's not just Facebook that's interested in creating this metaverse, this online world. We know that Microsoft, Apple, Google, and a number of other companies want to be the first to pivot to the metaverse. They want to be the first to be able to create this online virtual reality for us.
And is this meant to be a recreational online reality, or is this meant to be something more? Like, in other words, are we all going to be is this going to replace the Zoom meeting, for instance?
I think they would love for it to replace the Zoom meeting. I think given the last few years of the pandemic, all of us are tired of Zoom, so we'd probably be thankful for a break from that. But I mean, it's meant to be everything. It's meant to be a place for you to work, to meet colleagues, for children to go to virtual schools. It's meant to be a place to play games in realities that they can create on the spot. I mean, they're imagining sort of infinite possibilities for it, and that's why Facebook and other companies are so keen to be the first to sort of bring this to life.
Right. Yeah, as you point out in your piece, this is a competitive space. A lot of people seem to want to get there and get there first. But you spoke with several current and former Meta employees. What did they tell you about this new direction toward the metaverse that's happening in, it's almost like Prince, the tech company formerly known as Facebook?
Right. So the Meta, the tech company formerly known as Facebook, has really staked everything in this future. Mark Zuckerberg has told his employees that this is where the future of the company is. And so it's either get on board and support this mission of creating the metaverse, or really find yourself edged out. We spoke to quite a few employees who were being told by the managers that they needed to apply for new jobs on the augmented reality and virtual reality teams. These are sort of the hot teams within the companies that are going to be creating the software and hardware for the metaverse. And they're being told that if they really want to continue to grow at Meta, if they want to have a future there, that's where they need to be working. It's not that anyone's losing their jobs yet, but what a few of them told me was that they can see a future in which if they didn't get on board, they wouldn't have a job within a couple of years. So they're worried about that.
It's interesting because, as we mentioned at the top there in your piece, you compared this shift to the changes that took place when, Facebook moved mostly to mobile in 2012. That was a successful move, correct? I mean, that grew profits immensely. How does that pivot relate to the changes happening now, if at all?
Well, I'm sure that Mark Zuckerberg is looking back at that 2012 move and saying, people doubted me then. They thought I wouldn't be able to pivot my company from one that primarily dealt with desktop computers to one that dealt with mobile phones. And he pulled it off. He was successful. Facebook did really move quickly and efficiently to becoming a mobile-first company. And that success, brought Mark Zuckerberg the respect of a lot of Silicon Valley. He was heralded as a business genius and not just this boy ingenue and tech inventor that had first come up with Facebook. And so I think he's hoping that this pivot to the metaverse will show people that he has staying power and that Facebook as a company has staying power. And he seems to believe in it enough to have staked his entire company on it.
Well, that pivot brought him the respect of, like you said, Silicon Valley, but it also brought him the ire of lawmakers and a large swath of the public, right? I mean, Meta, or the company formerly known as Facebook, has been under fire for its role in the spread of misinformation and extremism on its platforms. These issues are not going away, and these issues don't seem to be clearly addressed in the company's pivot to the metaverse. So is this shift also an attempt to sort of change the narrative in the hopes that people will move on and forget?
Well, some of Facebook's own employees are worried about that. One of the engineers that we spoke to, who's been at the company since 2012, I think even a little bit longer, said that he felt like they were trying to leave their past behind him. And I remember in the course of our interview, he said, what do we think? We think people are just going to forget about the security and privacy problems we have because we're pivoting to something new. He is not the only one at Meta who's currently worried that they're forgetting their commitments to better security, better privacy, getting a handle on misinformation and hate speech, and all those other promises that they made to the US public and to lawmakers. This is, after all, an election year. We're going to see the midterm elections at the end of this year. And I think Facebook knows that it has to do better. And it can't just say, well, we were focused on the metaverse,
right,
and so we didn't have the time to secure these upcoming elections.
Right. I mean, lawmakers would like to say, let's see you dive into these problems with the same enthusiasm you're diving into the metaverse, right? Like, there's clearly a lot of energy and ingenuity there at Meta. Like, let's use it to clean up what's in the closet rather than moving forward. I mean, that's what I think a lot of people might say. But Shira Frankel, thank you so much for joining us, and a great piece in the New York Times.
Thank you so much for having me.